In our clinic, we see children with all types of chronic illnesses. We have a large percentage of children with autism who have behaviors that are labeled autism, that are really about pain, discomfort, inflammation, lack of normal metabolism that may be going on in their bodies. And we find that when we treat that, then the behaviors get better. We also have children with inflammatory bowel disease that, rather than being treated with medications, are being treated with diet, antimicrobial therapy, anti-inflammatory herbs, essential fatty acids that are helping them to get better. When we look at children with autism, we see a variety of outcomes. I'd say, first of all the children are healthier. They're more available for their therapy. They're more available to learn. They're not constipated. They're not in pain. And then there are some children that recover. Usually somewhere between 20 and 30% of kids will fully recover. Somebody once used the analogy of getting hit by a bus. You don't get cured of being hit by the bus, but you can recover from it. So with good diets, nutrients, removing the bad stuff, some of these kids can recover, and many of them, if not all of them, can be better. If there was one piece of advice I could give to moms, it would be to love your child as they are. Because I think stress is one of the biggest culprits that takes our lives and our children away from us, trying to change them. And I often use the analogy of a gift. You know, these children are gifts just the way they are. They may have 9 or 10 layers of wrapping paper that we need to unwrap and figure out the true gift inside. But at every stage, don't forget that each of these children are gifts. And then I think there are some very exciting interventions on the horizon, and one that I would like to mention is something called Helminth therapy. And the idea is of the missing microbiome, or the hygiene theory, and that is that we have totally changed our insides by the way that we live. Living indoors without vitamin D exposure, wearing shoes, using toilets, using antibiotics, C-sections, formula, all of these things have changed our microbiome. And our kids, epigenetically, genetically, are more susceptible to those changes. And so they haven't been able to adapt. And what we can now give is something evolutionarily all of us have had, and this is a helminth, which happens to be a grain beetle worm egg, that incites an appropriate immune response and starts to change that microbiome, that germ life inside of us, which is actually 90% of us. We are only 10% us, 90% germs. But anyway, the idea is that we can reset the immune system to start acting appropriately. And we have seen marked improvements in many autoimmune diseases, inflammatory bowel disease, allergies, asthma, atopy, but also in autism and ADHD with improvements in anxiety, attention, OCD, and tics. And I think it's a therapy that's on the horizon for many of us suffering with chronic disease.